From CBS 4 News, this is Facing South Florida with Jim DeFede.
Good morning and welcome to Facing South Florida. This morning I'm proud to say we have something very special to present to you. Something you haven't seen before. We are going to take you inside a COVID unit at Jackson Memorial Hospital so you can hear directly from those ICU nurses on the front lines. You will hear their fears, their anguish, their pain. We started this project in mid-July as South Florida was exploding with new coronavirus cases, and we didn't know what we would capture. But what we found is an important part of the story that is often overlooked.
My shift is over, first shift of 3, and honestly, last night wasn't too bad, but you know, it's a new bad now since COVID is around.
An ICU nurse at Jackson Memorial Hospital, Daphne Stewart now ends each 12-hour shift alone in her car, offering the same solemn prayer.
Oh, thank you, dear God.
She's grateful her shift is over, grateful she's safe, and on this day at least, grateful no one died in her unit. That's not always the case. Nearly 500 COVID patients have died at Jackson Health System since the pandemic began. Nor are doctors or nurses immune. Among the first victims of the virus was one of their own, Arceli Buendia-Ilgan, a Jackson nurse for 33 years.
It's just a different vibe in the hospital, in the atmosphere. I don't know. Just a different vibe.
Since the first COVID patients started showing up at Jackson 5 months ago, there is a grim sense of resolve for those on the front lines. You can see it on their faces, a stoicism that comes with not knowing when all of this will end.
I'm here ready to start my shift.
To better understand their struggles, we asked Daphne to document parts of her day.
Are you all ready to start?
And we asked her to pose a few questions to her fellow nurses.
You do know that this might be broadcasted on TV, internet, or...
I hope it is, so you can see the real pain that a normal person or a real person is going through. You can see the exhaustion, you can see the emotional strain it's putting on everybody. If I'm straining and my family's suffering, everybody should see this pain.
What Daphne captured was unexpected, especially these pictures, the portraits of those on the front line that reveal so much. The long hours, the helplessness of watching this virus take young and old alike, and the doubts about whether their job is placing their own families at risk.
I'm in my unit, in the trauma intensive care unit. I'm going in the back to get my gear, my caps, put on my goggles, my N95. This is where we keep 5 of the COVID patients, and they have a zipper. They zip their way in and out. How you all doing? I'm recording. Okay. I'll catch up with you all later when you have a minute.
Since the beginning of March, nearly 8,000 COVID patients have been admitted to Jackson Health System. Daphne recalls those early days.
My first COVID patient I took care of, I'll never forget him. I'll never forget that incident. I had to float to another floor, and within 4 hours, a guy, he was about 45 years old, he was dead. It was just him and I in the room.
Because visitors are not allowed in the hospital, it is almost always a nurse who is there with them when they die.
I've been a trauma nurse for many years, and I've taken care of all kinds of catastrophic cases. And the most memorable, I will admit, is a COVID patient I took care of. She was an elderly patient, and for some reason, just watching this patient suffocate literally to death and not being able to have any curable or anything to just ease her pain. There's nothing you can give for pain. There's nothing you can do for oxygen. There's nothing you can do. but just watch them just dwindle away is the most horrific memory I'll carry with me forever.
I was one of the first, from our unit to float to a COVID floor. Both of my patients were really sick. They were so sick that they're the kind of patients on this unit that we single. They were paralyzed. One of them was being prone, multiple pressors each. He also needed fentanyl, propofol, and ketamine because sedating him was an issue. So, I mean, they were really sick. And the scariest part for me was the fact that I couldn't see them because Central 6 is not an ICU. They're like regular rooms. And there's no window in the door, and there's no monitor outside, no camera, no nothing. When I close that door, I have no idea what's going on with those patients. I can't see the monitor, I can't see the patient, and my anxiety was through the roof for an entire 12 hours. I mean, at one point I actually cried in the bathroom from how tense I was.
5 months into the pandemic, a rhythm forms even as the number of patients increase. As an institution, Jackson has shown an amazing ability to process suffering.
It's getting easier, but it's still not easy.
It's getting what?
It's getting easier, but it's still not easy. You know, we're still battling this. You know, people out in the streets are still not protecting themselves. They're still not wearing masks, and they think that this is not real. And they're focused on the numbers of how many new numbers, and I want them to focus on the deaths. Because they're saying now that they're making up all these numbers, right? It's okay, they're making them up, but I come here and I'm focused. One death is enough. One death is too many. You're gonna call a family member? You're gonna tell them? I don't wanna be the one to do it. I don't.
And lest we forget, they have their own families to worry about.
I have had moments where I'd stay away from home just to be safe, weeks at a time.
Both of my parents, for example, it's like, when are we going to see you? When are we going to see you? But considering that my parents are older, my dad is like a sickly one, so I kind of refrained and I explained to him, listen, this is not the perfect time for me to see you because you just don't know.
My mom is 86 and my dad is 89 years old, and it's just really taking a toll on me. I think about it. We've been dealing with this since March.
I have an ill mom that I have not been able to see in about 6 months. And I'm really scared for her. And my heart breaks because I can't. My mother, her heart breaks too, that she can't see me, of course. But my heart breaks because I don't know if I have much more time with her.
I feel like I'm choosing the job over my parents, the patients over my parents.
The fear for some is palpable. Ashley, for instance, has a young child at home.
So you don't take your equipment off for the entire...
I don't. I know people that feel safe and they do, but that's not how I feel. Or if I need to get something to drink, I need to eat, I take my few minutes, I run to my car, I'm able to take off my equipment in the fresh air, get a quick bite, get a sip of water, and then come right back to work.
Have you thought about quitting? I love what I do. I am proud to say that I do what I do. And coming to work every day has been an extreme struggle.
I've thought about it and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I should just, give up on just working. But then reality strikes back then. Why? Because number one, I'm a nurse, I care.
So I wonder, I'm gonna be working for how many more years, and will this be my new norm? Will I be with all this equipment? Will it be for 1 year? Will it be for 2 years?
None of them enjoy wearing the mask.
I come home sometimes, my sinuses hurt, I get sinus headaches because of these masks.
And for me, one of my most challenging things is keeping a mask on. Because I have my moments where I'm like, oh, I need to breathe, I need to breathe.
So Dr. Lenine and I are there working with the patient, and we're both coughing, looking at each other, and I go, don't you feel like you have COVID? When you wear the mask, you suffer the symptoms. You have a cough, you have an itchy throat, your nose starts to run, your eyes start to get really like if you had a fever.
You do feel like it. Is that a sore throat coming on?
Yeah.
It's difficult to breathe through. It's stressful, it's hot.
She showed Daphne the red rutted lines on her face when she takes off the respirator.
I've had the mask on for about 30 minutes.
And already your face is
And
like
already.
that? Does it hurt?
The bridge of my nose.
It does take a toll on us mentally and definitely physically, especially wearing the mask. We know we have to do that, and we would hope that the community does that as well.
That sentiment is repeated time and time again. There is little patience for those who refuse to wear a mask in society.
But I tell you one thing, if I can do it for nearly 11 hours out of the whole day, there is no reason why you should not be able to wear a mask for 20 to 30 minutes wherever you're going has a population of people that you need to social distance. It makes no sense to me. And if you can't do that, then you really need to think about the kind of person that you are and what you think of your fellow person. I really think you should.
At the end of her shift, Daphne ran into Ashley, carrying her dirty clothes in a bag.
With all your dirty clothes. Okay, how are you feeling? How was your shift?
Long.
Long?
Yep.
Okay.
Long day.
Daphne won't be far behind. She'll be back in her car, offering prayerful thanks. Her shift is over. I want to thank Daphne and all the nurses who shared their experiences. And although the number of deaths in recent weeks have consistently set records in Florida, there is reason for some optimism, as hospitalizations in Dade and Broward have begun to drop. Experts believe it is because we began enforcing a mask mandate. Let's hope that trend continues. When we come back, my interview with Alex Pinellas, a candidate once again for Miami-Dade County Mayor.